I recently had to experience something that scarred me for life. But what I did after was even crazier. He kicked me out beside roaring trucks, clutching her hand like I'd never existed. Rage tasted like dust. He forgot the house deed was solely mine, his perfect betrayal gift-wrapped for me. But before we begin, let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. My name's Lauren Parker. I was 39 when the asphalt burned my palms and my marriage crumbled like cheap concrete. 2 hours earlier, I'd climbed into Daniel's cherry red Mustang, thinking we were driving to his parents' lake house for a last-minute weekend. Instead, 40 miles outside Phoenix, he swerved onto the shoulder, popped the trunk, and hissed, "Get out!" The door slammed. Tires shrieked. A woman's laugh fluttered through the open passenger window, a silvery sound I'd never heard before. Daniel merged back into traffic without a glance, sunlight glinting off his wedding band as if it mocked me. Can you picture that, friend? One heartbeat you're a wife, the next you're roadkill he forgot to scrape up. I staggered to my feet, heat rippling off the blacktop. My phone lay dead, my charger still dangled from the dashboard speeding away. 10 a.m., and the desert already smelled like scorched pennies. A trucker finally braked long enough for me to call a rideshare. During the 40-minute crawl home, I stared at my reflection in the cracked window, cheeks streaked with sweat, and felt something inside me click. Less like a bone breaking, more like one snapping back into place. 2 years earlier, nostalgia flash. Daniel knelt in our half-painted kitchen, grease on his jeans, begging me to sign refinance papers so he could fund our dream restaurant. Back then I'd laughed, flicked plaster dust from his hair, and, still dizzy from love, agreed. The bank required his name off the deed until the loan cleared, so he signed a quitclaim, trusting I'd add him back later. I never did. Paperwork bored him, and he forgot. Funny how a signature can turn into dynamite. Lore, you okay? Tessa Moreno, my best friend and real estate attorney, burst through my front door the moment she heard. I was still peeling highway grit from my knees. Okay? I chuckled. I'm spectacularly unmarried. Fury trembled in my fingertips, but underneath pulsed a cool, strategic hum. Tessa's eyes widened. The last time she'd seen that look, I'd negotiated a hostile vendor into giving me free inventory for my boutique. That night, Daniel texted, "Need space. Staying at Bree's. I'll collect my stuff next week." Bree, 26, a hostess at his restaurant. I replied with a polite thumbs up. Then I poured wine, spread the deed on the dining room table, and called Tessa. "How fast can we list my house?" "Our house," Daniel corrected the following afternoon, striding into the foyer as if nothing had changed. He smelled of new cologne, cheaper, fruitier. I held up the quitclaim. "Your signature, remember? You wanted lower interest." His face drained. Bree loitered behind him, scrolling her phone like a bored teenager. Daniel blustered. "I want what's mine." I smiled. "You left what was yours on the highway." Have you ever watched a man realize he's pawned his castle for pocket change? It's delicious, believe me. By Wednesday morning, the listing photos were live. Tessa's team staged the place overnight. Daniel raged by text. I muted him. Instead, I posted a cheery, moving sale on Facebook Marketplace. Neighbors carted off his gym equipment, his vintage record player, even his signed baseball memorabilia. Each item came with a receipt in my name. Arizona's community property rules couldn't touch assets exclusively titled to me. Justice tastes like garage sale lemonade, tart, cheap, and perfect on a hot day. Nostalgia flash. I heard Dad's voice. "Never tie your worth to someone else's engine, kiddo. Own the road." He died before meeting Daniel, but in that moment it felt like he'd handed me a toolbox across generations. Friday, 7 a.m., escrow opened with a cash buyer from Seattle who didn't blink at the price. By noon, Daniel was banging on my office door, cheeks blotched crimson. "You can't do this," he shouted, spittle dotting my monitor. I leaned back, palms steepled. I can. And I am. Bree's apartment big enough for two? He threatened lawyers. I handed him Tessa's card. Threatened bad press. I produced printouts of emails showing he'd siphoned business funds to spoil Bree. Employers frown on embezzlement, sweetheart. Daniel stormed out, shoulders hunched like a child denied candy. That weekend, I crashed at Tessa's spare room, boxes stacked to the ceiling. Between tape strips, I whispered to the listener in my head, "You, right now. Ever realize your life fits neatly into 4 cardboard squares? It's freeing." Monday, Daniel's restaurant investors called an emergency meeting after an anonymous package, bank statements I mailed, arrived. By Tuesday, he was removed as manager pending audit. Bree quit 5 hours later. Rumors said she hated broke men. Twofold ruin, home gone, career collapsing. I met Daniel one last time outside the title company. The sun bleached his hair, sweat rimmed his collar. He looked smaller, stripped of certainty. "Why?" he whispered. I inhaled desert air, felt it sear my lungs with possibility. "Because you left me on the shoulder like roadside trash," I said softly. "Trash gets collected." He reached for apology but found only air. I dropped the house key into a charity donation jar set up in the lobby. Clink. The buyer smiled. Daniel's jaw slackened. That night, I christened my new condo overlooking Camelback Mountain with takeout tacos and a playlist of songs Daniel hated. Tessa raised a toast to phoenixes, rising and scorching anyone dumb enough to strike a match. We laughed until salsa dripped down our wrists. I glanced at the glittering city lights, heart thudding with something brighter than vengeance. Ownership, of bricks, of future, of self. The next morning, a blocked number left a voicemail. Daniel sobbing, pleading for a couch, alone, a miracle. I deleted it before the first syllable ended. Can you hear the silence he earned? I mailed my moral to the universe on a postcard I tucked inside my journal. Never desert the woman who built your road. And believe me, friend, the road ahead looks wide open.